Welcome to today's episode of Pattern, where we talk about rewiring your patterns and aligning with your next level. I'm Zara J, and today we're diving into the emotional blueprint behind your love and money cycles that you can't seem to break. In this episode, we're going to go right into the 8 love loop patterns, which are the emotional patterns that unconsciously drive your relationships and your bank account. And if you're stuck in any feast or famine cycles, or attracting love and then losing it, attracting money, then losing it, having high highs in your relationships, then low lows, or maybe your just emotions seem to be all over the place, then there's likely a pattern underneath, and this episode is going to be for you. We're going to help you to identify it, and this is going to be your go-to episode for you to get a quick reminder about your love loop pattern. Also, please share this with a friend. Leave a review for this podcast if you are enjoying this podcast, and invite your friends to listen. Let's spread the news, help everyone to level up when it comes to love and money, break patterns, and step into the next level version of themselves. Now, if you have not taken the love or money quiz that we have, our assessment from our website, to find out which pattern you have and which pattern you're actually showing up in right now, then you're going to want to go to the Love Lofts with an S, thelovelofts.com/quiz, and take that assessment. It's actually newly revamped, so it's a little bit shorter than it was maybe some months prior, so that you can move through the questions, get your quiz result, and then you're also going to get some information that's going to be followed up with that on your specific love loop. You're going to get more detailed email. So make sure that you check your email to get lots of information on how this pattern is showing up for you when it comes to love and money. Also, you're also going to get an invitation when you take the result to sign up for the free mini course. Be sure to sign up for that. Take the Love and Money mini course. It's 100% free. It says it's a 5-day mini course, but you can actually sit down in probably about 1 or 2 hours, knock it out, and you're going to immediately get some instant clarity on whatever blocks that are showing up, the underlying beliefs that are stopping you from having the love and money that you deserve. You're also going to get access in that free mini course to a heart healing visualization, so that you can rewire your subconscious and you can refer back to it whenever you need to. So it's so good to just get that free mini course and work through it, have that right at your fingertips. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about why emotional patterns matter. When you're in these feast or famine cycles, and if you're not familiar with the term feast or famine, it's basically you have moments or seasons, maybe this could last for weeks or months, but it doesn't stay consistently where you're in a feast cycle where everything's good. Maybe money's really abundant, really stable. Maybe your emotions, like you're feeling really good. Maybe your relationships are thriving and everything just seems really good. Like you're in these high highs, but then the opposite side of the pendulum is low lows. Maybe you go through a breakup, divorce. Maybe you find yourself always feeling like you're feeling really great in relationships, and then you're feeling really insecure and unworthy, and the emotions just aren't stable. Maybe you're making a lot of money, or financially you're spending a lot, you're doing really well, you feel great financially, and then things just seem to topple off where you're penny pinching, you're barely getting by, and you're stressed and overwhelmed and constantly thinking from a scarcity mindset about your finances. Maybe in your business or in your career, you feel like you go through high highs where everything seems to be great, and then you're functioning in moments of stress and burnout and overwhelm, and you just never seem to hit that steady state. Maybe you attract really great things in, like you step into your next level and you experience these quantum leaps and you're shifting these timelines and all those things, and then you seem to revert right back to the old version of you. And it just seems like you're constantly on this treadmill that never fully breaks through to that next ceiling. You're just swinging from feast to famine, highs to lows. It's like an emotional roller coaster. And you just can't see, how can I break through to that next level and actually sustain it so that I can gradually expand into that next level of money or relationship stability or love, self-love, emotional security, all of those things. And it just allows me to gradually be able to build the life that I want without constantly reverting back into the old me, or to an old lifestyle. If that is you, and if you can relate to that, which, that's something that I've struggled with most of my adult life, that has been something. So I understand what that's like. That's why I'm so passionate about breaking patterns. But if you have been in feast and famine cycles in love and money, this often stems from a few things. It can be rooted in lots of things, but I have 3 things for you today that most likely you're experiencing and where it's stemming from. The first thing is scarcity mindset. You have a fear of scarcity, which is the belief that there isn't enough love, there's not enough money, there's not enough safety around you, you're not feeling safe or secure, but it's rooted in not enough. It's almost like this energy of just getting by. When it comes to your relationships provide just enough love, just enough support, just enough security, but not enough where you feel super secure, abundantly loved, satisfied. Maybe when it comes to your self-worth and making decisions for yourself, you allow yourself to skim the surface and give yourself opportunities or pleasures, or the way that you treat yourself is always in a way of just enough. Maybe when it comes to finances, it's always just enough money to do the things that you want, but you have yet to really experience overflow and that high level of security where you feel safe when it comes to your finances. All of this is rooted in scarcity mindset. Scarcity can show up in so many different ways. I used to have a really bad scarcity mindset where I operated so much in default when it came to making decisions that my default way of thinking may have been, I can't afford it, I can't do it. When I'm out shopping, I'm always thinking about what's on sale or what's on clearance. If I'm at the grocery store, I may have defaulted to the cheaper item without taking the time to look at what are the actual ingredients, what would actually be best for my body. So many different ways that scarcity would show up. In relationships, this can look like tolerating inconsistency, emotionally unavailability, you maybe just being in a deep need of looking for security, emotional security, outsource, validation, outsource, where it doesn't feel like you're fulfilled. So if you are in that place and you're constantly feeling like it's just enough or it isn't enough, then you're operating from a scarcity mindset. Now, the other pattern that or underlying cause that may be coming up for you may be the fear of abandonment. And for many of the people that I work with the Love Loft, a lot of our clients, a fear of abandonment is a very, very big fear. Now, you can experience fear of abandonment for so many reasons, often rooted, connected in childhood, even in your early adulthood. But basically, your fear of abandonment is rooted in the belief that connection or success will disappear once you get too close. This is super, super common when it comes to relationships. Whether you are married or if you're single, but when you get close to someone, you're afraid like things are going too good, this person's going to leave, you're just waiting for the shoe to drop, any of those type of feelings or emotions. Or this could look like in savings or in finances, especially if you are in business or you've been saving for a financial goal. You're just waiting for something to break, for something to go wrong. It's too good to be true. As soon as money becomes super abundant, you are looking for it to leave and for it to not stay. I know I went through this some years back when I had one of my biggest cash months in business. That was a 30K month. And in that month, as soon as I hit that 30K month, I went straight into fear and into scarcity that, oh my gosh, what if I can't maintain this? What if I can't repeat this again? What if I mess this money up? Like all of this fear came in because my nervous system couldn't hold that amount of money because I was operating from fear of abandonment beliefs. Now, another way that this may be showing up for you, these feast and famine cycles, and a big and common underlying fear is the fear of being seen. If you are in a space where you're hiding your truth, you're shrinking your voice, you are avoiding or not being truly authentic about your desires, then you're operating from a fear of being seen. Now, I'm going to get really personal with you. I'm going to get really personal with you right now. I went through this for quite some time. In the past few years, if you guys have been following me from Captivating Courtship, or if you have been listening for a while, I've gone through a lot of personal transitions in this time period. Just I'll say over the last 5 or 6 years. But one of the things that I struggled with for a long time, right or wrong, I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but one of the things that I struggled with for a long time was making the decision on wearing my hijab or not. I knew internally that my faith and my trust and my belief actually strengthened over time. But I was super scared of being judged, of possibly losing clients, losing money financially, what other people would say. I wasn't even worried about my family or anyone close to me. I was truly more cared about what other people online or clients or how others would feel if I decided to stop wearing my hijab. And it had nothing to do with me thinking that the hijab was wrong or me no longer wanting to practice or any of those things. But I did have the fears and the worries that that's what people would think, or that people would think that I, was not a good Muslim woman, or all these other doubts. And I had to do so much rewiring, so much just sitting with my emotions, sitting with my fears and my doubts and my beliefs around this fear of being seen if I show up, especially online. If I allow myself to be seen, if I decide to take my scarf off, how is that going to affect me? How am I going to be judged? How is this going to hurt me financially? What are people going to say? All these things. And so for years, I teetered on the fence. It took me about 2, almost 3 years to make the decision. And while I'm not advocating for anyone to make that decision, but that felt like the right decision for me. And I would seek advice, I would seek counsel, and I would try to convince myself that to keep it on, because I do believe that that was best. I still believe that's best. But I knew that where I was at in that phase of life, it didn't feel fully authentic. And I was shrinking so much. I had stopped showing up online. I had stopped doing video content. I was so scared of what other people would think if they saw me without my scarf. And so that greatly impacted how I showed up in other areas of my life, like just socially, not socializing as much, not participating as much, because even though I would still wear my scarf at the time, it felt heavy. And I hated having that relationship with my hijab. It felt super, super heavy. It felt like a strict obligation. It did not have the beauty and the lightness that it once held in my younger years. And I hated having that heavy relationship, and yet I felt like I had to do it, not for religious purposes, not for any of that, but solely because of judgment and a fear of being seen. And that would affect me financially because I was afraid to market as much. I was afraid to show up online. I was afraid to get in front of new clients. I was holding myself back in so many ways because I didn't feel fully authentic and I was at war with myself. So your authenticity and overcoming a fear of being seen and no longer hiding your truth, using your voice, being honest, being assertive, allowing yourself to not worry about rocking the boat, as I was just having a conversation with a client the other day, not worrying about rocking the boat or what people are going to say, and allowing yourself to truly step into your desires and not feeling shame or guilt about it. You could even feel this. Let's say you outgrow some of your friend groups, or you want more for yourself. Maybe you want to live a more luxurious life. Maybe you want to shop in better places or spend more money on yourself. But maybe the environment that you come from or the family that you come from, you feel shame or you feel selfish investing in yourself or spending money on yourself or investing in premium experiences. There's so many ways that fear of being seen can show up for you that is causing you to shrink, to hide, to not use your voice, and it's costing you money that you deserve. It's costing you relationships. It's costing you opportunities. It's costing you so much because you're not allowing yourself to be seen. This could even be showing up in your wardrobe, how you wear your hair, how you wear your makeup, all of those things, because maybe you feel comfortable blending in. Maybe you don't feel comfortable stepping into that next version of yourself where your personal style elevates, your makeup, your hair, how you design yourself, how you carry yourself, the confidence that you display, all of those things you're shrinking and hiding and not allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to evolve your identity and to step into the next version of yourself. All of this is rooted in the fear of being seen and you holding yourself back. So I want to just encourage you, as you're writing, going through this episode, as you're listening to this, to write down any of your thoughts. Where is scarcity showing up? Where's your fear of abandonment showing up? Where's the fear of being seen showing up? How are these things affecting you? How are these beliefs affecting your ability to connect with people on a deeper level, to have more love in your life, to have more self-love, to be more authentic in your life, to make more money, to raise your standard of living? Where do you need to shift identity in these areas? Because these beliefs around scarcity, around abandonment, around being seen, they're holding you back from your next level. Now let's break down the 8 love loops and the core wound for each one, because each one has a different core wound. And then I'm also going to talk to you about how to exalt that pattern, which means how to elevate it into an empowered and a more aligned version of that core wound. So we're going to start with the dragon archetype, the dragon love loop. And for the dragon love loop, the main core wound is rooted in control and distrust. My dragons, if you take the transformation quiz, the Love and Money transformation quiz, and if you come out as a dragon, I have to give this message to you. If you are a dragon, it is so important. It is so important that you allow yourself to and push yourself to do the inner work. I would say out of all of the 8 love loops, the dragon is the least likely to do the inner work. That fear of releasing control, that fear of being seen, all of those things really show up for the dragon, which allows them to make very little progress. The gift with the dragon is that they typically have the love and the money that they desire at a certain level, right? It may not be the abundance or the overflow, but usually what I see from the dragons is that they're usually pretty stable. They usually have a partner, maybe a long-term relationship, or maybe they very easily attract partners in. So they're not too stressed about that. Maybe they have a pretty stable and secure job, or even if it's in their business, it may not be the overflow that they desire, but they're pretty satisfied. They're usually pretty content in life. That's why the dragon becomes very complacent. And they usually don't have the love or the life that they desire on a very strong level. They usually don't experience the overflow and the abundance because they avoid doing the inner work, because they're pretty practical and life is pretty stable for them. In most cases for the dragons, I'm sure there's some exceptions, but in most cases that I've seen, dragons usually feel pretty secure. So they often don't have the urgency that maybe a trophy chaser or a romanticist may feel when it comes to working on themselves. So if you are a dragon, I want you to allow yourself to push yourself to have more, to believe that you can have more, and to be willing to do the inner work, willing to release whatever emotional avoidance that you may be experiencing that's causing you to think that you're okay and you don't need to. Because the next level for you is going to require you to dig more internally and emotionally so that you can release the control and the distress. Now, the pattern for the dragon is rooted in overworking, overgiving, and micromanaging relationships and finances to avoid being hurt. For the dragon, they're usually more in their masculine, man or woman, and that allows them to create that stability that I mentioned. It's a little easier for them because they're pretty practical in how they navigate life. Even though they're overworking, even though they might overgive slightly, they're actually pretty practical because they're able to manage the situation. I find they usually are operating with partners that give them control or give them the more dominant aspect of the relationship. Like maybe you are more of the manager of your home and your household of the relationship. You might take more of the lead in that way. Maybe when it comes to finances, you are the one that is usually making a lot of the decisions and how things go. But for the dragon, micromanaging is a big part of it because it allows them to feel in control, which allows them to not have to worry about having to trust. Now, when it comes to exalting this pattern and flipping it on its other side, for the dragon, you have to allow yourself, you have to do the work to get into a space of healthy trust and empowered boundaries. Now, for the dragon, empowered boundaries are not the same as rigid, cold boundaries. No ghosting, no, discarding people, no firm, rigid boundaries without communication. Healthy trust and empowered boundaries requires communication. You're allowed to set standards, you're allowed to set boundaries, but you have to communicate as well. And whatever fears you have or discomfort you have around communication and emotional connection and empathy and all of those emotions, you have to do the work so that you feel more connected with your feminine and more your body. Again, this applies to men and women, so that you can communicate boundaries and build trust in a healthy way. So the shift that you need to make is that when you trust yourself and you set boundaries, you will stop attracting chaos and start attracting alignment. You will find yourself to be in a space where you feel lighter, you feel more ease, and you feel more emotionally connected and present as well. Let's dive into the trophy chaser. Trophy chaser, which has always been my core wound, my core pattern type. And for many of the clients that I've worked with, especially at Captivating Courtship, many of the clients that I've worked with over the years have been trophy chasers. So for trophy chasers, the core wound is their deep need for security. It's so big and so important for trophy chasers that I have to share this message with you. If you are a trophy chaser, and if this is something that you struggle with, you have a deep need for security, whether it's in relationships, let's say you chase status or you chase validation, you feel as though you desire to have it all, but you don't truly feel worthy of it. Maybe you've been operating and it's never enough, like you never have enough love, you never have enough security, you never have enough money, you've never reached enough success or status in your life, but you feel like you're always chasing that security and chasing the next level in love, money, lifestyle, all that, and you don't get to that place of feeling very secure. The biggest thing for you, trophy chaser, is learning how to be self-sufficient and learning how to be emotionally stable. You have to do the work to make this happen. For a trophy chaser, one of the biggest things is that when you outsource your security and when you outsource your emotional stability, you are always going to feel deeply insecure. And you're going to become less attractive to whatever it is that you desire, whether it is in business or your partner or just the life that you are meant to live. I personally believe that all of my trophy chasers, man or woman, if you are a trophy chaser, I truly believe that you are supposed to go after what you want, dream bigger, go harder, ask for more, play a bigger game. You have to overcome the fears, the beliefs that cause you to shrink and not be as extremely self-sufficient and emotionally stable, which goes hand in hand, because if you are not emotionally stable, it's going to be hard for you to step into that high level of self-sufficiency. But the more you do that, you will be so successful in life. You will have such a thriving relationship because you'll be so extremely attractive when you claim yourself to be the trophy that you are chasing, when you become the trophy that you are chasing. This is vital for the trophy chaser. The more self-sufficient and the more emotionally stable you have, you will become a magnet to whatever you desire. If you are a trophy chaser, I can bet if you look back in times of your life when things were really good, when you were in feast mode, you were probably being extremely radiant, taking care of yourself, doing a lot of things for yourself that made you a magnet to the partner, to the love, to the self-love, the lifestyle, better experiences, more money, all those things, because you were focused on your emotional stability and self-sufficiency. The more self-sufficient you are, the more emotionally stable you are. So they go hand in hand. The shift for the trophy chaser is to focus on feeling emotionally safe from within. You have to stop outsourcing your worth and start calling in genuine abundance, abundant love, abundant self-love, abundant lifestyles, abundant, finances, whether it's in your corporate career or if it's in your business. You have to focus on abundance. This is the key for the trophy chaser. Now, next we have the globetrotter. For the globetrotter, your core wound is rooted in inauthenticity and a fear of vulnerability. Your pattern is connected to, one, focus on performing and pleasure and keeping things rather surface level instead of focusing on love, opportunities, or living a lifestyle that's focused on being rooted in your truth. For the globetrotters, you guys usually are very ambitious, pretty hardworking, and you love to play. Like, where trophy chasers tend to self-abandon and they often struggle with play a little bit, globetrotters hit the globe. Globetrotters love to travel, they love to play, and they play pretty hard. They're pretty good at that. And they appear to be really, really confident on the outside. And they appear to have things pretty much together on the outside. But behind closed doors, and very secretly, many of them struggle with self-worth. Many of them struggle with being truly, truly authentic with who they are and what they actually desire. Especially if they've been operating in a place of performance and being who they believe they need to be when it comes to, let's say, choosing careers based upon what would make their family proud, or choosing partners based upon what they think society would be attracted to. Even if you're thinking, well, no, this is what I genuinely desire, this is what I genuinely love. If you are a globetrotter, I challenge you. I challenge you to challenge yourself. I challenge you to deconstruct all of your beliefs, all of your, experiences, all of the things that you think you desire, and really, really get rooted in your truth. Really get rooted in your truth. The more vulnerable you are willing to be with yourself, the more comfortable you will be willing to be with, potential partners in your relationships. You'll be able to be more vulnerable and honest with yourself about what you desire when it comes to your purpose, your career, and stop being afraid to be the authentic version of yourself and to be seen. So in order to exalt this pattern, you need to have embodied vulnerability, and you need to focus on allowing yourself to commit and to connect on a deeper level. Commit to whatever it is that you desire in love, money, authenticity, all of those things, and step into a version of yourself where you are allowing yourself to be seen, to be connected, and to not be so focused on pleasure and what's on the surface, but allow yourself to go much deeper. The more you are apologetically yourself, this is the shift. The more you're more apologetically yourself, and the more you allow yourself to stop focusing on red flags or exit signs or what could go wrong or that fear of making a mistake or the fear of failure, the more money will flow to you, the right people will flow to you, because you're no longer wearing a mask. You're no longer allowing yourself to be hidden, right, as an authentic version of yourself. For the romanticists, I've actually been working with a lot of romanticists in the last 6 months when it comes to specifically the love and money mentorship. So let's dive into it for the romanticists. So for the romanticists, your biggest core wound is around suppressing your voice and that fear of being seen. So for the romanticists, when it comes to your pattern, staying silent, avoiding conflict, suppressing your needs, when it comes to a fear of being too much, all of those things that's causing you to worry about being a burden or fear of rejection, any of that is what is your biggest block and what's keeping you from the love, the money, and the lifestyle that you desire. For the romanticists, you had to also get really authentic, but it's a little bit different than authenticity with the globetrotter. The globetrotter has to get authentic about who they are. You have to get authentic about what you desire, about what you want, about what it is that you desire, what you're worthy of. Let's say if it's in business or if you're in a corporate position, you have to be honest and ask for the raise. Ask for your clients to pay you. Ask to make more money. Raise your prices and raise your voice. You cannot be afraid to, speak your truth and to require your emotional needs to get met. You have to use your voice, set boundaries, request things that are going to be important to you, and be honest. If you lose someone because you speak up for yourself, or because you ask for what you want, or because you set a boundary, or you state a requirement, or you raise your prices, or any of those things, you go for the promotion. If you lose your voice, if you lose someone because of that, or you lose an opportunity, it just simply wasn't best for you. The people that love you, the opportunities that are right for you, all those things are going to be drawn to you and magnetized to you because you're using your voice. When you're shrinking your voice, then you're not being authentic and you're not giving someone else the opportunity to meet your needs. You're not giving someone else the opportunity to connect with the real, true, authentic version of yourself. So you have to step into this version of yourself, because on the other side of that is more of what you want. It's more love, more money, more self-worth, better lifestyle, all those things, because you're using your voice to ask for more. This is so deeply rooted in the feminine. In order to exalt this pattern, you have to start embodying divine communication and emotional leadership. The great thing about the romanticists, they're hopeless romantics, but they are also those that they're natural givers. They operate more in their feminine. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. They're naturally very, very nurturing, and people love that about them. But don't be someone's big, comfy couch. Don't shrink your voice to meet everyone else's needs while you ban it, because that will build deep, deep resentment. Now, the shift that you need to make is understanding that when you speak with love and clarity, you lead your relationships in your life rooted in truth. And that is amazing. That is beautiful. That is attractive. And that will draw more people to you. It will not repel. It will only repel the wrong people. It will draw so many more people to you, so much more money and opportunity to you, because you are coming from love and with clarity, and you are allowing yourself to be the emotional leader that you're really, really good at. So step into that and own that aspect of yourself. Next, we have the maverick. Oh, the maverick. For you, your core wound is rooted in judgment. Rooted in judgment. If you're a maverick, you probably tend to overanalyze. You're probably very critical of yourself or others, and you tend to protect your heart and to protect your value, which means that you're hiding and you're shrinking and you're not allowing yourself to fully connect with others in a deeper way. That judgment that you may be fearful of others judging you or others criticizing you is usually a deep projection of how you're judging and criticizing others and how you're judging and criticizing yourself. When you're protecting your heart and you're coming off guarded, you're not letting people in to even get to know you. So this fear of being judged is truly a projection, because you're not even letting others close enough to you for them to judge you. And even still, instead of worrying about judgment, you have to allow yourself to connect with people and develop empathy and understanding. The more empathy and understanding and compassion that you hold, the more you are willing to let others in to get to know the real you, you will create such deeper connections. You will take off in your career. You will have so much more abundance in your life. And here's why. When I think about the maverick and a way that the maverick can expand, whether it's in love, career, lifestyle, however else, collaboration is a big key for the maverick. The more you are able to partner with others, whether it's in relationship or if it's in business, if it's in career, the more willing you are to work with others, to bring others close to you, to rely on others, you will create so much abundance in your life, because you're going from this like super isolated lone wolf type of syndrome to leveraging your natural, analytical mind, or your ability to see things that maybe others aren't paying attention to, and leverage that in a way that you are elevating others and elevating yourself by being in connection with others. So the way that you exalt this pattern is to have clear standards, but also emotional maturity. You're allowed to have standards. You're allowed to have expectations so that you're less critical of yourself and less critical of others. But you also want to have emotional maturity, which requires you to have empathy and compassion, understanding, communication, self-awareness, all of those things. The more emotionally mature you develop your emotional awareness, and you feel more safe with your emotions, and more safe with connections, and more safe with bringing others close to you, the more you will thrive, the more you'll be able to expand into your next level. The shift that you need to make, Maverick, is focusing on releasing the fear of imperfection, so that you're setting clear standards and mature boundaries with ease, while also letting others in with empathy and compassion. You want to shift. I still want you to be independent. I still dig that you're an introvert, all of those things. I'm not saying for you to totally give that up, but you have to meet a middle ground. You have to come towards people. You have to let people in and be willing to be fully seen in that type of way. Now we have Venom. Venoms. All right, Venom. So your core wound is rooted in disempowerment. You're not feeling empowered when it comes to love, money, self-worth, just feeling very powerless, a little helpless, like you just don't know what to do. You can't make any changes. Everyone's against you, all of those types of feelings and emotions. So if you are a Venom and you feel like life is happening to you and not through you, then it's going to end up causing you to harbor resentment. That level of disempowerment and feeling like a victim, essentially, I know everyone hates that word, but feeling like a victim, feeling like there's nothing you can do, you're attracting toxic partners, you maybe are in a toxic work environment, or just unhappy with your home environment, maybe you are unhappy with your work environment, maybe you have a toxic relationship with your finances, you're emotionally reactive, all of those things. And I'm not trying to come down on you, Venom, because I know it sounds really, really terrible, but this is a real state that people experience. So we have to be honest, right? When you're operating in a space where you're toxic within yourself, maybe you have a lot of emotional reactivity, maybe you're very impulsive, maybe you find yourself being in very toxic relationship or love cycles, a lot of feast or famine when it comes to your finances or your career. Maybe you have a hard time building relationships. Maybe you have a lot of negative thoughts, but toxicity is a part of it. That's why I called it Venom. And if you're in that state, the way that you get out of this is stepping into unshakable self-worth and attraction energy. You have to do the inner work. You have to be willing to pull back the layers, as uncomfortable as it may be, as ugly as it may be, as emotionally, I don't even know the word I'm thinking of right now, but it's going to cause you to react. It's going to cause you to feel shame and guilt and all those things when you first start doing the inner work. But if you're willing to push through that, and you're willing to step into a more worthy version of yourself, and to push past your comfort zone and overcome your fears of being empowered, if you're willing to do that, you will become so much more attractive to the desires that you have. You will finally step into the power of being able to say no, or to set boundaries, or to walk away, or to attract the type of partner you want, to have the type of love you desire, to improve your relationships, to step into your power when it comes to making money, step into your power when it comes to your overall lifestyle. You will become a magnet for what you desire, but you have to believe that it's possible for you to be empowered and to be in control of your life. The shift that you need to make, Venom, is for when you step into your worth, and when you know your worth, and you move from victim to a creator, and you become a magnet for aligned opportunities, that is when you will thrive. You have to shift from victim to being a creator. That is how you take your power back. Next, we have gadget. Gadget has a deep fear of being seen. And I actually love my gadgets. I haven't been working with as many lately, which is very interesting. I used to get them a lot more in Captivating Courtship. But for gadgets, doing the inner work, being willing to overcome your fear of being seen, and not just behind closed doors. Because what I find is that for many of my gadgets, they tend to lean more on the introverted side. And they might actually thrive with doing the inner work. They might be ready and willing to do the inner work. But allowing yourself to be seen in the outer world, allowing yourself to stop hiding, stop downplaying your greatness, stop dimming your light, stop worrying about failure or rejection, and stepping more into the version of yourself and basically take up space. You need to take up space as a gadget. The way that you're going to exalt this pattern is by just radiating your presence and your feminine energy. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, feminine energy exists in both. But that feminine energy that is rooted in presence and observing and stillness and slowing down. When I think about a gadget, I think about like a powerful creator. A powerful creator, someone that's a powerful artist who is hiding. I have a friend of mine who's a gadget, and she's in sound. She does sound baths, and she's clearly a gadget. And one of the things with her is I would always tell her, just show up and perform. You don't need to do all the extra marketing. You don't need to do all the work that I would probably have to do as a trophy chaser with someone else in order to grow a business or in order to make money. Like, you don't even have to do all those things. Just show up and be you. Let your natural presence just radiate. Just allow people to see you. Allow yourself to come more to the forefront. You are going to be so attractive, and opportunities and people and money and all that will come your way. You just need to allow yourself to be seen. And I tell you, when she stepped into this version of herself, she started getting so many invitations to perform at events, to perform at retreats, to just attract in opportunities where she's getting free clothing and trips paid and making money for doing something that she genuinely loves. The opportunity just started showing up when she allowed herself to be seen. It was like magic. She was so radiant, so present, and she's so naturally attractive and feminine. It's like undeniable that people just want to be in her energy. So I'm like, girl, all you have to do is allow yourself to be seen. Everything will show up to you. But if you're shrinking and you're avoiding and you're hiding and you're doubting, you're downplaying how great you are, then it's almost like a bad signal. If you're downplaying your light, if you're downplaying how great you are, if you're not allowing yourself to be a lighthouse, how can the right people find you? They can't, gadget. So you have to allow yourself to be seen. So the shift that you need to make is allowing yourself to be visible and vulnerable. When you do this, you will call in deeper connection. You will call in more recognition, which only leads to better relationships and more money. So step into this version of yourself. Now, last, but of course not least, we have the allure pattern. The big thing for the allure pattern in the core wound is not knowing your value. Now, of course, all of these patterns can experience not knowing your value. But for the allure, it's much deeper, and it causes many, 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 many more challenges when it comes to love, money, lifestyle, connection, all of those things. So the pattern for the allure is they tend to overcompensate when it comes to love and money by attracting. What ends up happening actually as a result is that they end up actually attracting low effort or unclear offers and opportunities. So this could look like attracting in men or women, if you're, you can go either way for either gender, but attracting in partners who are low effort, don't put in the effort. They're not allowing the relationship to move forward, maybe in work. Maybe you are lowballing yourself. You're not making the type of money you deserve. You know that you deserve to make more. You know that you should be going for bigger opportunities, but you're allowing yourself to stay complacent and to not go for bigger opportunities. Maybe when it comes to your lifestyle or your level of life, you're not allowing yourself to step into a bigger version of yourself. You are downplaying the value that you desire and the authentic value that you provide to every room that you walk into. So you end up trying to, oftentimes with the allure, many of them lean on physical attraction or sexual chemistry, especially in relationships, in order to try to feel powerful or to try to draw people to them. And physical attraction doesn't have to mean just about beautifying. It could be just trying to magnetize people to you, like, look at me, give me some attention based upon how you look. This could also look like in the workplace, maybe you're working super hard, but you're underpaid and you're undervalued and you're not asking for bigger opportunities and you're not asking for more money. This could also be showing up when it comes to career. If you have a business, maybe you're overworking and you're not charging correctly for what the value actually is, but you're undervaluing yourself and you don't know your value. You are so unclear on your authentic value and the worth that you bring that you shrink and you avoid allowing yourself to step into a more powerful, aligned version of yourself. So in order to get out of this low effort, low pay, low balling lifestyle, in order to step into the version of yourself that you actually desire to be. If I have a client, let's say, and they are in allure and they've been playing it safe when it comes to the places that they go or the people that they spend time with, they don't feel like they belong in certain rooms, or they don't push themselves to have certain experiences, or they're not requiring more when it comes to their love life, or they're not going for bigger opportunities financially. Maybe they're scared of what's going to be required of them if they have to ask for more, or not just work harder, but show up more in their value. Any of these things that are holding you back, the way that you turn this around and that you exalt this is by increasing your own personal standards. You have to increase standards for what you want for your life. Raise your standard unapologetically. You have to have irresistible, unshakable self-worth, and you have to raise your standards. Want more for your home lifestyle. Want more for your financial income and your revenue if you're in business. Want more for what it is that you offer. Be more in excellence. That's another thing. If you are in allure, don't shy and shrink away from being a better version of yourself. If in order for you to raise your standards, let's just say when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to dating, when it comes to, the quality of living that you have, when it comes to your workplace environment, how much money you make, your savings, your experiences, whatever those things are, raise your standards. Don't be afraid to also require more of yourself. Don't be afraid to require more of yourself. Like, this is the message that's coming through me right now as I'm thinking about the allure. Don't be afraid to require more of yourself. I know it can be scary. I know it can be uncomfortable. And this is why breaking patterns requires an identity shift. You have to start seeing yourself as a different version of yourself. But you have to raise your standards for yourself. And you cannot be afraid of requiring more of yourself. When you know your value, and this is the shift, when you know your value and you stop chasing and you start shifting into ease and receiving energy, and you allow yourself to embody your value, you will have that next level that's waiting for you. So how are you going to stop these love loops from showing up when it comes to love and money? There's different ways you can start to rewiring. When it comes to attracting inconsistent love, whether, you're going through a lot of emotional up and downs in your marriage or in your relationship, or maybe you're just attracting inconsistent partners, or let's just say you get overly attached, which is like you're going through a lot of good things in your relationship, and then you find yourself going through a feast of feeling too attached, insecure, maybe a breakup, maybe a divorce, maybe fights, whatever those things are. You're attracting in love You feel really abundant in love, and then you're going through a period of famine. Maybe you're swinging between overspending and scarcity. Maybe you find yourself struggling to maintain success or love once you get it. It feels like every single time you draw in things that are good for you, it leaves and you feel abandoned. All of these things they're not your personality flaws. They're not just, that's just what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. But they are some emotional blueprints that are showing up from childhood, that have been embedded in you through heartbreak or any type of past disappointments that you have experienced that has now created this identity and way of being. But of course, you can rewire them. So I want to invite you to come to the next masterclass. Once a month, I host a live masterclass where you're going to experience what it's like to reset your nervous system, a live rewiring. We're going to do our expansion map. The expansion map is my absolute favorite exercise that I do with my clients. This is an exercise that I do with my high-level clients. You're also going to get access to it as a member of the Love Loft when you are a Source Love membership member, but it's inside the portal. But to do it one-on-one and to have someone walk you through it and to help you get immense clarity on your expansion map, it's so helpful because what the expansion map does, what the next level expansion map does, it creates a bird's eye view of how you need to shift your identities and who you need to become. This is not just a tool that I've created for my clients. This is a tool that I use personally, and I refer back to it at least once a month to self-assess, get back on the right path, whatever you want to call it, shifting timelines, quantum leaping, all of those things, especially whenever I feel myself shifting into a rock bottom. And I feel like, I'm falling off a little bit. Something's going on here. I want to stay aligned. I want to stay focused. My expansion map is my go-to tool that helps you get clear on who you need to be. You will get very clear on how to navigate a rock bottom, how to get into a place of security, how to step into your next level, and how to get to your highest level. All of my clients love this exercise. Anyone who's attended the masterclass loves doing the expansion map because it's so eye-opening and it makes it so clear what the vision is for your life when it comes to the life you want to live, how you want to feel, the money you want to have, the relationships you want to have, the version of yourself that you want to become. This is the most clear way and the best way for you to have a step-by-step plan and roadmap that is personalized and specific to you. So during the Next Level Love and Money Transformation Masterclass, I walk you through it. This is a 3-hour masterclass. It's a deep dive session. So this is for you if you are seriously all right, let's break some patterns. Let's get clear. I'm ready to step into my next level. I'm ready to go for more. I want more out of love, out of life. I want to get to the root of why I can't break these ceilings. I want to start addressing this. This is the first step for you. This is the first step. I keep it very intimate. I keep it very small so that I can answer your questions. I can guide you through it. This is an actual workshop. It's not a webinar. This is an actual workshop. And if you have attended in the past, let's say maybe in the early stages of the Love Loft, the fall of 2024, this workshop has been revamped. And that's why it is a paid workshop now. We did do it as a free workshop at first because it was more like a webinar, but now it's a deep dive session, very small, group oriented. And when you enroll and when you register for the workshop, it's $97 for the workshop. When you register for the workshop, you're also going to get a hard copy. I'm going to mail you a copy of the Next Level Love and Money Guide, which is a journal. So you're going to have a hard copy of exercises, questions to ask, journaling for you to do that you can do. Whether you become a member of the Love Loft or not, you'll have this hard copy of this journal at your fingertips to continue working on your love and money patterns. So it's so much value. We're going to do a heart healing visualization. You want to get clear on your patterns and your core wounds. We're going to do the expansion map. You're going to have time for Q&A, and you're going to get a hard copy mailed to your front door wherever you are in the world. No matter where you are, I will mail you a copy of this journal. You will have this at your fingertips to continue doing the work. And you're getting all of that just for $97. You sign up, bring a friend, someone that's going to be your accountability partner, someone that you want to grow with. and join the masterclass. I am going to put the link in the show notes. Make sure that you register, tell a friend. And if you have attended and you loved it, tell someone like, hey, you need to join this. We are trying to build community. We are trying to grow. And we want people who are like-minded, who are on a growth path. I don't care if you are an entrepreneur or you're just simply a high achiever. You're someone who you want more out of life. You value personal development. You see yourself as a bigger version of yourself. You know that there's more to life and you want to be surrounded by like-minded people, and you value the spirituality, the holistic tools, all the things. You want an overall well-rounded way to expand into your next level. Then you are the type of person for the Love Loft. So join the next masterclass. You can also apply to be a part of the Love Loft Collective. Now, let me be very clear. The Love Loft Collective is a no-fee membership community, but you do have to apply to join. Why do you have to apply to join? Because we want to make sure that we are building a community of like-minded people. Now, we don't want one thought. We don't want everyone to be exactly the same, but it is a community for high achievers and for entrepreneurs who are on a path of breaking patterns and moving to their next level. This is a free online community. It's you just have to apply. You're going to do a very quick call. On the call, we're just going to get clear on, what your goals are, how the Love Loft can be of service to you. And also, if you're also willing to bring some of your value, bring your experience, bring your stories, bring all that to the community, because then this peer support community, you can network, you can meet other like-minded people. You can share your stories with breaking your patterns, your beliefs. You're going to have a safe space as you're doing this work to engage with others and to meet others that are also doing the same work and on the same path. So I'm really excited about the collective. Of course, you're not going to get all the benefits that you're going to get by becoming an official member, but it's a great start and a great space for you to connect with like-minded people. And one thing that I know is that when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a high achiever, and you're doing the work and you're elevating in life and you're in a personal development and you're in a spirituality, it can feel very lonely. It can be hard to find your tribe, especially as you're growing or you're going through some type of awakening and you feel like you can't quite talk to your friends, or maybe you don't have as many people around you that are in the same space and on the same path. That's why you need community, and that's why you need to be around people that are in the same space as you. So just by booking a quick call, applying to the collective, you're going to have an opportunity to do that 100% for free. It's free to join, but it is application based. So go to thelovelofts.com and you can join the collective, apply to join the collective. But if you want to go deeper than that, we have so many offers. We have so many other ways for you to take that step. But the first step for you to take is to join the Next Level Love and Money Masterclass. So the notes for the quiz, the masterclass, the free mini course, all the tools and resources that you need are in the show notes. Geek out on it, please. Geek out on it, please. Do the work. We are moving into the next level, and I can't wait for you to be a part of it. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure that you leave a positive review if you enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. Have a great day.